Hey dreamers, this is Mandy Owen, and I'm excited to be back with you again today to talk more about dreams. Today I have Karen on, and we're going to be interviewing her about a little bit about her testimony, but also about how God revealed something to her 10 years before it happened in her dream involving healing from some hurts that she had, some wounds that she had from her life as a child. I'm excited for you to hear her story. This is part one of a two-part series, so this week and next week we'll be finishing up with Karen. Thank you for watching and keep dreaming.
Hey dreamers, this is Mandy Owen, and I'm excited to be back with you today to talk more about dreams. I am with my dear friend Karen Saavedra from Honduras. Karen and I met at the beginning of the year, this year, I believe, and we've been on 3 mission trips now to Honduras. She's helped us on one, and every time we've gotten closer and closer. And she's an amazing woman of God who God has really spoken to her through dreams throughout her life. And there is a really powerful testimony that happened at our last mission trip. We were there, we women's conference. And I've invited her on to kind of share a little bit about her story and some of the testimonies that she has from that trip. So Karen, if you could just introduce yourself to the audience and explain kind of what you do and where you're headed. I know you do a lot of work with the Assemblies of God in Honduras, but you're also traveling soon. So give us a little feedback on who you are.
Hi everyone. Yeah, so my name is Karen Saavedra, Karen Saavedra en español. So yeah, I have been working for the AG Honduras for the last 11 years. I started working over there when I was 20. So it has been a long journey, but I really enjoy my time over here. And I have been working with a lot of missionaries too. I have been working with building churches and hub centers in Honduras. So that have been a beautiful experience for me. And now I have been traveling a lot, but this is just like every time I travel, I feel like nobody can understand how I feel, because when I was like a teenager, like a child, I always dream about it. But like when I talk to my mom or my friends, they were like, "You're crazy, Karen. It's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen." So now that I am just experience those things, for me it means a lot. You know what I mean? Because I know where I was, and I know how I feel when I was sharing with others my dreams. They were like, "You're crazy, you're crazy. It's never gonna happen." And I was like, if I dream it, it's gonna happen. So
Amen. Yes.
yeah. So now that I like when I met you before, like this year, I thoroughly understand why my dreams are important. You know what I mean? So I'm just grateful for you, because you're like talking to me, explaining to me what it means to have dreams, and also to
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
dreams. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really good. So Karen was at our the last event that we had was a women's ministry event, and we spoke to about 200 or 300. I'm not sure exactly how many pastors' wives and ministers in Honduras, and she translated for us. And the Lord had really laid on my heart, and really my mentor, who is John Bates, laid on his heart as well that we share some of my story. And I don't think I've even shared my story on this YouTube channel before, but my story consists of a lot of different traumatic events from my childhood. There was some abuse, things like that. So I shared that story at this women's event. And Karen, I was over at one point, and Karen's translating for me, right? And so I looked over and I'm like, she's emotional. She's definitely very, very emotional. And I'm like, God, what do I do? Do I stop and, go Ministerian, or do we keep going? Like, what do I do? Because, this is my friend. And I mean, and obviously I need to go pray for her, because there's something going on with her. But she's like, no, no, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. And she pulls herself together, and we finished that evening. We go for another hour or whatever ministering. But after that, I couldn't Karen, and I was like, "Where's Karen?" And then it was really, I want you to share your story and what you share about that. But I wanted you to share your dream and kind of whatever the Lord lays on your heart to share about that experience.
Yeah. So what? Well, first, I didn't know your testimony at all. You know what I mean? I help
Yeah.
you with your book, but I didn't have enough time to read it, because it was just like 24 hours before I received your book. I didn't have time to read it. So when you were preaching, I was like, this is just so like personal, you know what I mean? First, I never in my entire life experienced to hear someone's testimony being so personal, because some people try to hide some things, because they feel like this is now, I don't want to share this, and they
It's
don't
ugly.
understand how,
Yeah.
it's ugly. But when you were sharing your test, you were so personal. I was like, oh my God, but the moment was when you said, you said, this is not my fault. You know what I mean? When I listened, I was like, because I spent all of my life thinking that that was my fault. This is something that I did to receive this. So but the I start like, it was so powerful, and I start crying, and you were like, and people were like trying to help me, trying to give me some water and some things, and I was like, just give me a minute. And then when you finish, this is the moment, Mandy. When you finish your preacher, your testimony, I was like helping the others, trying translating for them when they were praying for others, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But at that moment, I was like, I can do this. I need my my time too. And I remember that I just like, it was a lot of people in the front, like you were praying for them. There were a lot of people crying and receiving. And I was like, I need this too. And I remember that I was like, there's a lot of people here. I don't want anybody to see me. I don't want anybody to pray for me. I just want to like give this to the Lord, because I don't want to live my life anymore like this. And I remember that I just walk, and it was table. Like when you were sitting, remember, it was like close to the wall. And I just walked to that place, and I hide myself in the bottom of in the floor. But the table was like I built a wall. The table was like something to hide,
To hide
right?
behind.
Yeah, to hide behind. So I was like this, like a baby, like I was like this, and I just hug myself like this, like in the floor like this, and I was like, Lord, I give you this. This is not mine anymore, and I don't want to live like that anymore. This is something that I don't want to hide anymore. This is something that I don't want anymore, and I give it to you. I give it to you. I'm sorry, but I don't want to like have this
Amen.
anymore. And at the
And it's
moment, I
not,
was like,
it's not yours to
say,
carry. It was never yours to carry. And and I want to kind of recap real quick for the listeners. So at this event, and I'm sharing my testimony from trauma from my childhood. Karen's being really touched. We're praying and ministering. She disappears, and she's behind a table, but she doesn't, because she's a minister. How many people watching this video right now are ministers of the gospel, or you're the leader of the church, or you're a businesswoman, and you don't want people to see your vulnerability or your weakness. But through the power of our testimony, people can be set free. So Karen now is behind the table, so nobody can see her because she's supposed to be ministering, right? And she just starts praying. It's such a beautiful. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Karen.
yeah, for sure. And if you're listening this or seeing this, and you feel like, even though you're leader, you're pastor, and you have things you don't share with anybody, you have to. You have to. You know what I mean? And I'll call these things for names, because I was praying like this. I give you this pain. I don't want to feel anymore. I give you this. I give you this. And then it was like a flashback, and all the memories came back. All the memories came back, because I was trying to hide them. And when memories arrived to my mind, I was like, no, I'm not gonna think about it. I'm not gonna think about it. My entire life living like that, with fear. Because when those memories came to my mind, it was like a painful moment for me. It's like do it again. It was just hard for me. So I was like, I don't want to live like that anymore. So I remember that I said, this is the last time. So it was like a
Okay.
flash, all the memories. When I
Ooh.
was a child, when I was like 12 years old, my parents get divorced when I was 2 years old first. And they weren't ready for me. And they say, we're not ready for Karen, so we're gonna give it away. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I was living my life in different places when I was a child. There is things that I don't remember, and there is things that I remember. And those things that I remember are the things that they were holding me back, you know. And at that moment, I was like, that flashback came to my life, in that moment, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is huge, you know,
Mhm.
like so
You know,
at,
and when Karen, when you remember things like that, and this is for other people, sometimes we repress memories because we have to do that to protect ourselves. The memory comes just because you're ready to deal with it. You're ready to release it. You're ready to let it go. So don't push it down. When you remember things, do not push it down. Release it. Is what Karen did. So,
yeah, I was like, I'm gonna remember this and I'm gonna give it away. I'm just
amen.
and all those memories, man, came to my life at the moment. It was like a flashback, but with everything. And that guy later tried to abuse me, you know, tried to have sex with me for several times. And he was like touching me all the time. He was like trying to be with me all the time, kissing me or touching my body all the time, like putting his hands in my body every single day for months, you know. But in my case, it was different because I wasn't. I was like, I'm not gonna have sex with you, you know. I'm not.
Mhm.
I'm not like, I don't like you. I don't want to be with you. You're my cousin.
Mhm.
I no. And he was like, you're gonna do it eventually, and you are a piece of you know what. And he was talking to me every single day in the same way. He was like, you don't deserve anything. So
I'm
that
so
was,
sorry. Yeah.
and I remember, and okay, so it was a lot of things. He
Yeah.
didn't abuse of me. He didn't complete his plans with me, but that continue situations, man, that was horrible for me.
Well, and
So
the break with your mom in that too. So, I mean, I see so much in that story that I can relate to. But what's the most hurtful, you know, is there was a trust that was broken. You know, here's this person supposed to be protecting you, and that's broken. And then you carried something for so long that was like, this is my fault, or I did this, or this is me. You know, the shame comes on you about the situation, and it's not yours. It's not yours to carry. It's not it doesn't belong to you. It doesn't. It's not. It's that is their issue. And so many women get labeled this, or they get weighted down with this shame that they have to carry. That's not theirs to carry.
yeah, and also when I met Jesus when I was 14 years old,
Mm-hmm.
I remember that the church, they were cheering. They were saying, you have to honor your mom, you honor your father. I was like, I don't know how to do it. You know what I mean? I don't know how to
Yeah.
do it because
Yeah.
I don't like my mom. I
No,
don't feel a connection with my mom. So how
yeah.
do I do it? You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I heard a sermon this week, Karen, and I didn't mean to sidetrack onto this, but I feel like somebody might need to hear this today. And it was talking about this situation. Like, how do you honor your mother or father when you didn't have a mother or father? When you weren't honorable. When you didn't have an honorable mother, how to honor your mother? Or if you didn't have an honorable father, how do you honor your father? And the first step in that is you have to let go of the mother or father you wanted them to be. You know,
mhm.
you have to just basically let all go, and because they weren't a good mom or dad, and you can't, and that pain and that hurt is legitimate because you wanted a good mom and you wanted a good dad, And your feelings and your hurt is real. So you have to let go of the thought of what you wanted them to be, the good mom, the good father, and then just honor the fact that God allowed this person to bring you into the world, that this is the best he chose for you to come into the world, and you honor them for what they have done. And you have to let go of that desire of them being something they're not, but that does not mean that you have to allow yourself to be abused or allow yourself in bad situations. If your parents aren't good to you, that does not mean that you have to put them on a pedestal and go around a situation that's unhealthy for you.
Yeah, for sure. But that happened when I was 14. And when I met Jesus, I was like, I want to be in love with the Lord, but I also want to honor the Lord. And in order to do that, I have to forgive my mom and my dad.
Yes.
And I want to heal, So I started like forgiving my parents. And I remember that I took like pictures of my mom and my dad, because at the time I wasn't living with them. And I took pictures and I talked to the pictures and I said, I forgive you, Mom. I don't want to, I want to see you like my mom, my pure mom. That was the word that I always asked the Lord, purify my heart. And I remember that when I was praying for my mom, I said, I want to see my mom like a pure woman. I don't want to remember all of the things, because if I do remember all these things, it's gonna be hate, So when I start talking to my mom, I start talking to the Lord about it. And when I was 21, I said to the Lord, I wanted to talk to my parents about you. And I remember that I talked to my parents and I said, the Lord, he loves you. No matter what, he loves you. And my mom were like, no, I don't think so. And after 2 years of that, my parents came to the Lord. My mom, my father came to the Lord. My father was later than my mom, but both of my parents now are serving the Lord, are loving the Lord, and they never say anything. They never ask for forgive, but I do it. I did it.
That's right. Yeah.
So now we have like this relationship with my parents. But yeah, that was
awesome.
all.
So I will tell you. So as we jump in, the sermon that I shared with the Honduras pastor's minister's wife was basically a story of restoration. So it was a testimony, and the 4 points that I really felt like were important was one, is forgiveness, and that's what Karen's talking about right now, is that we have to walk forgiveness, and sometimes forgiveness is 1,000 layers, but we have to walk that out. And then the second is we have the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So the blood of the Lamb is what Jesus comes in and forgives us and cleanses us. And then we have the word of our testimony. So that's using our voice. We don't silence our voice. We don't push it down. We share it, and we share our testimonies, and that's how we overcome enemy. And then there's love. And so there's like a layer past forgiveness. There's that after you get through the 1,000 layers of forgiveness, there's actually a different level that you can walk into. And it's actually where you have love for people that have hurt you. You have love for your abusers. You have love and it's a healthy love. I mean, it's not like we're going to go around people that hurt us. But we actually like have compassion in our heart, and we're praying to them like, God, help save those people. They're hurting. And when you get to that level of love, there's like a supernatural thing that happens in the spirit. And then it's like, boom, it's like God just can like set you free. God can help you overcome. God can move you into a power level of ministry. He can just really set you on a trajectory that is just really powerful. And I feel like that's where Karen is now. But then go ahead and you can share with what happened after that. So you're behind the table, and all that stuff, and you were looking through some pictures, and you saw a picture, and you kind of finish the rest of that testimony.